Hello and welcome back to Justin's Leap to the Past. Thanks for joining me again. Hopefully you want to hear more about me making WWE video games because this will be part 3 in that leap to the past. And I made 3 games, so this one's going to focus mostly on the third one, which is WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2011, the last game that I worked on for THQ for WWE. And I actually quit before it was finished. We won't talk about that so much. So when we were following up 2010, which was a pretty good game, we had done branching cutscenes, interactive cutscenes, branching narrative, and I went into my boss's office again, and I knew what he wanted, and I was kind of resigned to the fact. So I went in there and I said, okay, we can do a free roaming backstage area. Free roaming, backstage. I wasn't super into it, but I knew that's what he wanted, and I had started to come around to that idea. So, okay, if Ukes can do it, we can make it. Hopefully we can make it interesting back there so you're not just running to your match. Did we do that? I don't know. So the backstage area was designed by, actually, my project manager, Dave Knox, who has a background in design, so he made us a pretty cool backstage area. Mapped that out with like locker rooms and interview area and makeup area and Vince's office, those sort of things. And then we populated it with superstars that either had parts in the storyline or didn't, things to forward the narrative, things that were just, guy you could push around in the backstage and get into a fight with for something to do. One thing that I really wanted, which Ukes was not able to do, was to have guys basically leave through a door and then have different people come in, so it was cycling out who was back there. They were unable to do that. They pretty much told me, no, we can do six guys back there, that's it. I was like, yeah, but even when you do Royal Rumble, you stream, you have new guys leave, other guys come in. No, it didn't fit in the budget or whatever, so okay. But I really like a lot of the storylines that we had. We had the Versus. I just woke up from a nap, so my hair is crap, whatever. We had the Versus Undertaker story where instead of being Undertaker like you were in 2009, you wanted to break the streak and you could create a character, and the voice was Dave Brockie, who was the lead singer of GWAR before his passing in 2014, like a mentor of mine, somebody who I really looked up to. But that was a cool storyline because we could do... What I wanted to do with that one is I wanted to emulate Eternal Darkness, a really good survival horror game for GameCube, where it really messed with the player's mind. I really wanted us to find ways to mess with you, the player, and kind of have you think like, whoa, what's going on? Kind of try to blow you away in the vein of The Undertaker and the kind of magic that he would do. We also got to bring back Edge and Christian, reunite them, which is something that, amazingly, WWE programming never did once Christian came back from TNA. But I was able to put these scenes in of them talking to Grandma, them doing the 5-second pose, different poses, all that stuff, and it was a lot of fun. I got Sean Baby, who's a very famous internet writer, to kind of punch up that story, and he punched up a lot of stories in 2011, kind of making it more funny. So he was a big get for us. He had been working on the UFC video games, writing some audio for that, so I kind of was able to bring him over. And let's see, what else we had the Rey Mysterio storyline, which started with a car accident, and like who did it. It was a mystery aspect, and then Rey had lost his memory, so there's that aspect, kind of Detective Pikachu-esque, I guess you could say. And it let us explore Rey Mysterio as a heel, as a bad guy, which I thought was kind of fun. One of my favorite parts of that story is that Austin Aries, my best friend, famous, awesome pro wrestler, was one of our motion capture performers, and he was, I only had one woman motion capture actress on set, so he actually had to play one of the Bella twins. And I bet you if you watch the scene, it's a scene where Ray and Jack Swagger are in a bar, kind of going to shut it down, and the Bella twins get a little sick of them and their antics. You probably can't tell which one was Austin Aries. That's how good of a performer he was. He wasn't quite so good doing Santino Marella when Santino was doing the "Whoa, oh, WrestleMania" singing part. I think that was in 2011. Strangely, Aries is a singer, but his rhythm was really off on that take. But I won't, he did great stuff for us. We had the Chris Jericho storyline where he was playing the chicken shit heel to Triple H, who, Triple H at this point is kind of like a Terminator in pro wrestling parlance, because if he wants to, he's pretty unstoppable. So we had Jericho kind of trying to run from him and trying to outsmart him and cheat him. And with 2011, I think I was really hitting my stride of trying to use interesting gameplay and interesting mechanics to help further the narrative and vice versa, because there's only so much those games can do. We have such little time, and I can't really reinvent the wheel, so I just tried to find... I know I was messing around with kind of health states. When health gets to this point, then something happens or the difficulty goes up or whatever. I think this was the year that I wanted us to do special match audio, announcer lines, or have people run in and have them have lines, so to use audio in more interesting ways. So it was not, again, having 6 people backstage was a bummer. Somebody who wasn't me designed some kind of level up thing with the trainer in the background, which was, or in the backstage, which I never understood, and I don't think it went over that well. So that was not me, guys. Although with the trainer, he, in the scenes where he had a voice, he was voiced by Paul F. Tompkins, one of my favorite comedians, who I was very honored to be able to get to do voiceover for us. And he came to THQ. We had a little voiceover studio there, and I actually got to direct him. And I also got to direct Rob Van Dam, who was also a big get, because he was, I think, in between TNA and WWE contracts, and we were able to sign him to come in, and he made a little cameo in one of the storylines. I don't remember which one, sorry. Maybe Rey Mysterio. And he came in and I directed him on some voiceover lines, and he was, I think, an unlockable character in that game. So I got about 2.5 minutes left. I want to talk about motion capture. Somebody asked me about that. So I write these scenes like a movie scene, basically, and the actors study them like that. They put on these suits with the reflecting balls. Camera catches all the balls movement, and we go through, and usually in one take, and they do the scene like they would. Of course, we didn't have facial capture, but they needed to know these lines. When it's Chris Jericho cutting a promo in the middle of the ring, it is our actor, in this case Austin Aries, doing all those Chris Jericho lines, doing the motions, and then we take that motion capture data, which is kind of like a skeleton, connecting all those ball dots together into a skeleton, and we put the character models over. Because it's in 3D space like that, we can put the camera wherever we want, change it however we want. And man, that was really the most fun that we had, was on set. So many wonderful, talented wrestlers would come in, and it would be fun, but I was director. People came to me for answers. They came to me with questions, and I had to provide the answers. Although I think I learned pretty early that I'm kind of up in the sky looking down at these scenes, and the guys, the actors, the guys and girls are the boots on the ground. And when they have ideas about their characters, I defer to them. If they say, well, I think that I would do it this way, or my character would do it this way, okay, I usually let them do that, because I'm looking over everything. And I had my sensei Robert Goodwin. He was the director of photography, so he was keeping track of what the best scenes should be, or what the best camera angles should be, and we pass that on to our motion capture production company, who I think at that point was in Korea, and then we go back and forth. So there. Did you like it? I don't know. I hope you did. It's always fun to think back on this. If you have some questions on the process, stuff that you want to know about, please let me know. Maybe I'll do a follow-up to this, or if you're sick of hearing these, let me know, and I'll leap to something else. But either way, thank you for watching. I'm Justin Leeper. Give me a thumbs up if you like. So far, I really appreciate your feedback. Thanks. Bye.